Hello and welcome back to Suspended Filmation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 6, Part 6, Far, Far Away. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you know who you are out there. Take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library. Over 1,000 videos now. Pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. It's sparse at the moment. Work's been kicking my ass. Sorry about that. But I have that up there. Also, underneath there, I have like all the stuff that's coming out. Like not all the stuff that's coming out, but a good majority of stuff that's coming out timeline-wise, like future events. Also, I have, like I said, I have all the information for my other streaming media. So I just joined Blue Sky, so I'm on there as well. So yeah. Hey, Yasi and Cheryl. Good evening. All right, let's get started, shall we? There we go. Just trying not to knock over Modoc there. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Give you enough time to pause, go away, whatever you need to do to, not be spoiled. All right. Make an entrance like Thrawn? No, I can't do that. I don't have a beat up old Star Destroyer to make an entrance with. So yes, we do get Thrawn in this episode. We also get Ezra in this episode, which I kind of figured, we were going to have all this going on. But we also have a lot more questions that come up as well. We get introduced to the, I guess you could say, the progenitors of the, the sisters of Dathomir, which are called the Great Mothers, or the Great Mother. Great Mothers. Yeah, the Great Mothers. I thought grandmothers at one point, and it's the Great Mothers is what they are. And they have, of course, have been calling to Morgan, and when they, when Morgan arrives there at Peridia, when the ring arrives there, I should say, Balin actually says this is the end route of where the space whales, the Purgle, they keep calling them space whales, which I kind of find funny. It's like, well, why would you call them space whales? Just for us, just call them the Purgle. That's all you need to do. Call them the Purgle. This is where the Purgle come to die. It's their last end of their migratory route. And before all of this, the only thing we got of Ahsoka and Huang, there we go, Huang, is that they're still the space whale, the Purgle, and they are traveling to the galaxy. And Ahsoka is kind of wondering where she went wrong with Sabine, and Huyang is basically saying, hey, look, there's a lot of shit out there, there's a lot of stories, and oh, by the way, I don't know if you caught this one too. He said, I can tell you about the history, the beginning of the Republic, parts 1, 2, and 3, 1 being the best, out of all of them, which meaning that, A New Hope is the best movie out of all of them. That's what Filoni was getting at there. He kind of gave a little dig, as he did it. And that's all we get to see of them. And of course, we dig straight into Peridia, the arrival of the ring at Peridia, and they go down there, see the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters, or I should say the Great Mothers, are ready to go. They're like, let's get the fuck out, but Morgan says, well, we want to meet Thrawn, of course. And the Great Mother says, oh, you know what? Thrawn's coming. He's going to be here. And as soon as he gets here, we want to leave. We need to leave there. And of course, Sabine wants to leave. She wants to find Ezra. And she's trying to hold Balin to his deal and saying, hey, you told me I'd be able to find Ezra. You said no harm was going to come to me. And he says, yeah, that's exactly it. Don't worry about it. You'll get to meet Ezra, whatever. Thrawn shows up in his, the Chimera is what the name of the ship is. For those of you who don't know, so the Chimera at the end of Rebels ends up getting wrapped by Purgle, a bunch of Purgle. They basically start squeezing the shit out of that ship and breaking it up, and then they just warp the fuck out of the galaxy. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So all those pieces that you see that are taken out of the Star Destroyer is Purgle damage, and that happened right before the Battle of Yavin. So probably about a year before the Battle of Yavin, somewhere around there. And so yeah, they've been gone that long. They've been gone. Oh, I think it's supposed to be what now, like 15 years, something like that. Somewhere in that neighborhood. And so they've been surviving out there in Peridia all this time. And we see that Thrawn's troops, what he has left of his stormtroopers, they all have damaged armor. And we see all that armor has actually been I guess, put back together again with gold, little gold trim here and there. And we have a captain, Captain Enoch, who, by the way, is played by Wes Chapman. I don't know if you noticed this. You know, from a little show that you might have seen up there called The Expanse. Yeah. So he was actually Captain Enoch there, and he is the head of their Stormtrooper Legion there. 15 years. Thank you, Yassi Sufi. Yes, that's correct. 15 years. Yassi says, I like the way they traveled to their galaxy far, far away, and we got to hear the long time ago. And it got, yeah, I know. That was actually kind of nice. This was a very cinematic episode. This is one of those episodes, and we got a lot of aliens in this episode too. This is one of those things that when you think of Star Wars, this is what you think of Star Wars. This is aliens. This is large cinematic widescreen shots, action, not a lot of action, and story. And this was actually a really well done episode. Yes, I love the vintage Stormtrooper armor as well. They did a really good job on this one. So Thrawn, of course, knows Sabine. They've met before in Rebels, and he goes, "Good to see a familiar face," is what he says. And yeah, we'll let you go. You can go out and take a look on Peridia and go and find Ezra. See, I'll let you know where his last location was, and we'll send you out. We'll even give you a mount. It's a Howler, is what it's called. And I don't know if you noticed, by the way, too, when Thrawn's ship first shows up, right next to the Great Mother's tower, I guess you can say, sitting off on the down below, there are two Lothal wolves. Lothal wolves. They're wolves. They are not the Howlers, by the way. So I was looking at that. I'm like, those aren't Howlers. Those are wolves. Yeah. So it's kind of like a nice little nod there. And the Great Mothers want to leave. I mean, they want to leave like now. So they let Sabine go out and they say, hey, there's going to be some raiders out there. Here are your weapons. Good luck, kind of thing. And Thrawn basically tells Balin and Hati that if she finds him, go out there and kill him. If she finds Ezra, kill Ezra because he's still out there someplace. But most likely he's dead. And yeah. Yassi says, and very subtle writing for Thrawn character when he blamed Sabine and said, you put your galaxy in danger. Well, not necessarily subtle, because I mean, he knows exactly what's going to happen when he goes back. The one thing he alluded to when they were talking about Ahsoka Tano and her coming back from the dead is he knows all about resurrection, is what he said. That's what Thrawn was saying, that he knows all about resurrection. And how he knows about this is because all the stuff they start loading aboard the ring from the Great Mothers, the Night Sisters, if you will, look like coffins. And remember, Thrawn says that his stormtroopers, his legion, has been decimated quite a bit. Don't be surprised if those coffin kind of things are all his stormtroopers, and they're going to be brought back from the dead, if you will, as an army by the Great Mothers. That's what their specialty is. They actually bring back the dead. The Night Sisters of Dathomir, that's what they used to do. All the sisters that had died had been put in like a cocoon hanging from a tree, and they'd be brought back as an army of the dead. So yes, they do zombies in this. Yes, that is what the Night Sisters do. That's what the Great Mothers do. So most likely we're going to see zombie stormtroopers in all of this. Just so you know. They also say, or Thrawn says, that there is a threat on this planet that the Night Sisters or the Great Mothers fear, and it's growing. I don't think it's Ezra, obviously. I think it's something else, and I'm hoping it's Bendu, the Bendu. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Bendu is not a light side part of the Force. He's not a dark side part of the Force. He is a middle part of the Force. Basically, he is what you would call a gray Jedi, if you will. And he's really not even a Jedi. He's a force of nature. He's an elemental, if you will. And we had seen him on Lothal. He had been tied to Ezra at one point. Actually, Kanan Jarrus is what he'd been tied to, and also voiced by another Doctor as well, the original Doctor, by the way. So yes, um, very interested to see if that's who we're going to have come back. But Sabine goes out onto Peridia. She's looking for Ezra. She's on her mount, the Howler. They run into some raiders who look suspiciously kind of like the Tusken Raiders, only in samurai armor, which is interesting. And she's taking them, she's doing a good job against them, and finally has to pull out the lightsaber and takes down the rest of them. And they take off. And she does end up finding a little turtle-like guy that hides. He looks like a rock when he hides. Actually, I should say the Howler found him, and we had a nice little interaction with Sabine and the Howler. Her yelling at him for leaving her behind, and he makes up for it by finding the little, it's called Noti, the language, Noti, which I thought was kind of funny. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce it. It's like Noti or Noti. I don't know exactly how, and that's what it says in the subtitles. Until they actually pronounce it, I'm just going to say Noti. Uh, and we have these little turtle-like characters, and one of them stands up, and Sabine is trying to get him to calm down. So not going to hurt you, that kind of thing. And he starts pointing at her rebel crest on her armor on her shoulder, and then he shows her that he has a little rebel crest as well that's made out of wood. And so she asks him if he knows who Ezra Bridger is, and he calls his other group that are around them actually to come up, stand up, and they go over and find Ezra Bridger. And Ezra's been there. Thank you, Tom Baker, the fourth Doctor. Thank you, Cheryl. Not the first Doctor, but the fourth Doctor. And you're not wrong, Yasi. These really are treats to the eye. If you go back and rewatch them, there's all kinds of little stuff that are hidden throughout them. There is no waste of background space in all of this. They do a really good job of just packing everything in, and there's lots of stuff to find. So I actually went through and rewatched the first 4 episodes before episode 5, and yeah, it's just there's a lot of good stuff in there. These are just really good episodes. This is well written stuff. At the end of all of this, we see that Balin and Hadi are going after Sabine, and Ezra and Sabine have reunited at this point, and Thrawn is getting ready to take off. He's like, well, if they find Ezra and kill him, great. If not, we're going to strand them all here. Fuck them all. So basically what Thrawn's like. He goes, we're going to go back to our galaxy and, take care of things. But also he's waiting for Ahsoka. He knows Ahsoka is coming. How he knows this, who knows? But he knows that Ahsoka is coming. And he's getting prepared for her. Why he's waiting for her, I don't know. But I don't know why he just doesn't go back to the, his own or the galaxy, the Star Wars galaxy, if you will, and go from there. Especially since it's really not his galaxy. It's a longer story. That's all I'm going to say with Thrawn. Thrawn's a little bit of a different character there. So good episode. We have a lot going on in all of this. I'm really looking forward to see what this extra, this threat to the Great Mothers is. Oh, and by the way, Claudia Black from Farscape, she is also one of the great mothers there as well. You probably couldn't tell under all the makeup, but yes, she is one of the great mothers as well. Raymond says, "Why do you think Thrawn never went after Ezra if it was so easy to find him?" Um, I think he had at some point, and that's the reason why his numbers of stormtroopers are down so low. And also whatever that great threat that the great mothers are trying to flee is also helping Ezra. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Bendu, because the Bendu at one point was trying to help Ezra, and then Ezra pissed him off, and Bendu just kind of went ape shit at one point. Really great episode, by the way, of Rebels. Really, really good episode of Rebels if you haven't seen it yet. Yasi says, I love the meditative pace and Rosario's contemplative take on the character. Well, I like now that we're getting Ahsoka like we've seen her before in animated form, because she seemed a lot more pensive and not Ahsoka-ish, if you will. And now she seems more Ahsoka-ish. Now that we have an explanation for all of this. Raymond says, I just came in a few minutes ago. Do you think the troopers are dead like Marek? Possibly. Yes. You mean the ones that are with Thrawn right now? No, those guys are the ones that survived. The ones that are in the coffins that they're loading aboard the ring, those are going to be the ones that become animated like Marek. So yes, that's what's going to happen. Marek is one of those zombie troopers, if you will. And I still wonder if Marek was the Inquisitor that faced off against Darth Maul in Rebels when they went and found the Sith temple. So there's a Sith temple that Ezra and Darth Maul go and find, and some Inquisitors come after them, and one of them actually goes to try and kill Darth Maul, that attacks him, and Darth just fucking like hits him as he's trying to fly away using his lightsaber, and Maul fucks up his lightsaber, and actually he dies by falling into this ravine. And I'm thinking, because he looks a lot like that guy, and I'm wondering if that's the one. It would make sense, you know. But yeah, this is a good episode. This is a great series. This is a fun Star Wars series. And I mean, we're getting a whole bunch of aliens. We are getting story. We are getting there's a lot of backstory in all of this too. And honestly, Dave Filoni has some balls just jumping into this and going, this is fucking Rebels season 5. You bitches who didn't watch all, Rebels, deal with it. You didn't watch Clone Wars either? Deal with it. Ask your friends or go and watch the episodes. And I kind of like that. I like that, he's doing that. But you can also, if you haven't watched any of that stuff, you can get through the story, but you're still going to have a lot of questions as to what's this, what's that. It's just deeper meaning if you've seen Clone Wars, if you've seen Rebels, if you've read, if you've kept up with Star Wars, really, that's really what this is. This is um, a love letter, I guess, to fans of Star Wars is really what this is. And Dave Filoni's just rewarding people that have stuck with it. And, I kind of dig that. I love that he's doing that. Raymond says they already used Force Echoes from Jedi Fallen Order. I wonder if that power Balin feels is the Zepho from the game as well. Balin actually uses his power is he can actually, it's kind of like the Jedi mind trick in a way, but he can actually read people's emotions, thoughts. He can get things off of them that way. So it's not really the sense echo. It's more he could read people and use that against them. It's a Jedi mind trick in a way. Yasi says, I've been saying this since the first episode. I think Balin is after the timelessness of the world between worlds. He wants to get his hands on what Palpatine wanted. Possibly. And that's the other thing too. I forgot, I skipped over this too. So Balin keeps talking about the endless cycle of building up, tearing down, building up, tearing down, building up, tearing down, and how he's tired of it. But that in Peridia, it's fabled that there is actually a way to end all of that. And there is some power there. I don't know if that power actually is the timelessness of the world between worlds. Could possibly be. Could also be some Bendu stuff. I have no idea. Yeah. Yasi says, imagine having past, present, and future all at the same time. Yes, endless cycle. And that's what it is. The endless cycle is also the father, the daughter, and the brother. You know, the mortis, if you will. The ones is what they're called. So that's the endless cycle as well. And again, we've seen that, Anakin has taken over the role of the father. Now, we don't know who's taken over the role of the daughter and who's taken over the role of the son. So, yes, the one. The balance of the endless cycle. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Yassi. I work it out eventually here. No, I just need to actually talk through it. That's all. It's been a week. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Let's see. Monday, I put in about 22,000 steps. According to this. Yesterday, I put in about another 20,000 steps, and today I am at so far. I'm just gonna take a look at it. Only at 17,500 steps. So you know, like I said, it's been a lot of stuff going on. Ezra will probably be the son, I think. Do you think so? What if Hadi actually becomes the son? You know, Hadi could become the son, and or you could even have Sabine. You know, yeah. Who knows? I mean, we have all these different players in the room at the moment, and we don't know where they're going. And also, Hadi going on with the whole thing about witches, more witches. She doesn't like the witches. Um, Not only that, it seems like she's kind of testing Balin a little bit too. And I'm wondering if she's questioning him about some stuff. Like, do you miss the Jedi Order? And he says some things about it, but not their short-sightedness. That's and their unwillingness to see the cycle of things. And um so he's a sentimentalist, I guess you could say, but at the same time, so he's not a Sith, he's not a Jedi. What is he at this point? And he also calls people like Ezra, people like Ahsoka, people like Sabine. He calls them Boken Jedi. Now, what a Boken is a wooden sword. A wooden sword isn't real, obviously. It's a inferior weapon, if you will. Now, anybody who's actually studied martial arts knows that with a Boken, a trained master could beat the fuck out of you with a Boken. You could have any numerous amounts of swords and stuff like that. A true master, sword master with just a Boken in their hand can beat the fuck out of you and take you down, even if you have a sword. So yeah, he's going to eat those words at some point in time. We already know that. And yes, there are only 2 episodes left. You're correct, Raymond. Yeah, we episode 7 and 8. I thought there were 9, but there's actually 7 and 8. Yeah. Yasi says, remind me of the armorer called the Jedi's a group of sorcerers in Mandalorian. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, remember the Mandalorians? They actually would capture Jedi. That's what that's what their job was at one point. They would capture stray Jedi, rogue Jedi, and their armor, their weaponry, all their skills are actually trained against Jedi. That's how their religion, if you will, came about. So yeah, Sabine is actually set up to face Balin and Hadi as well. So Raymond says, how do you think they will handle Stevenson's death? I've heard, recasting, which would be a mistake. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle his death in all of this. Maybe this is the end of Balin's storyline. Maybe you tell prequels of Balin's skull. Um, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be handled. To tell you the truth, I don't know how to handle it because this is a good character. I mean, this is a really good character. This is one of those villains who's not a villain. And it's the same thing like Thrawn. Thrawn is one of those seductive villains, the ones that kind of like Hans Gruber, if you will, where they're an asshole. They're an asshole, but you kind of like him as well. You don't want to see them prevail, but at the same time, they're gonna gain some footing, and they're gonna gain quite a bit of footing before they actually do fail, and that's something we want to see as well. So yeah. Yasi says now Balin doesn't like to be at the witch's presence, or maybe he's aware of their power. They don't like him. They sense that he was once a Jedi. So, like they said with Sabine, this one stinks of Jedi. This one, they can sense the good, the light, if you will. And that's why they kind of got her out of the way and moved her, into solitude because they work in darkness. Yeah, they work in evil, if you will. That's the reason why Count Dooku actually conscripted with the Night Sisters of Dathomir and worked with them. That's how Darth Maul came about. Darth Maul's brother, Savage Press, came about because of that whole union, if you will. It all ties in. I mean, this is a huge story in the process. There are just so many things that are there, um, from Clone Wars, from Rebels. Uh, I mean, even Star Wars Resistance. There's a little bit of Star Wars Resistance in here too, which I know people forget about it. I like to forget about it. But the senator from way back in episode 3, I think is what it was. That's actually the father of Kaz from Resistance. Yeah, and that's just a horrible story. That whole thing, that Star Wars Resistance. Yasi says only if Maul had an apprentice like Shinhadi. Every time she calls him Balin, she calls Balin Master. I think of the old Master Maul. Um, I think Maul, did he have an apprentice? Well, Ezra is actually Maul's apprentice. Yeah. So at one point, Maul was teaching Ezra the dark side in Rebels. So that's why they said there was always the capability of Ezra turning to the dark side because Maul had actually trained him as well. But we know that that's not the case. So we know that Ezra's not going to turn over to the dark side because of Kanan's teachings. So, but yeah, if you really want to call, if you want to call anybody Maul's apprentice, it was Ezra at one point. Yeah, because he kind of tricked him into doing it. Yeah. Yasi says he wanted to have Ezra, but it didn't happen. Yeah, I know. Well, that's because he was given the choice and he chose Kanan over Maul, which was a good decision. So great episode. Very much looking forward to the next 2 episodes. So I'm going to be down in Anaheim when the next episode drops. I will do the podcast here. It's just I'm not going to have my normal setup, and we'll see what happens with that. That'll be fun. Yasi says I'm so team Maul and witches. If you couldn't tell, yeah, I can tell. Um, but yeah, I'm actually kind of jazzed. I'm going to be down there. Ooh, sorry, I just have a. YouTube was asking me to if I wanted to put in ads or not, and I just skipped the ads for you guys. So since I'm going to be down in Anaheim at an expo down there, there's a little place across the street you might not have heard of called Disneyland. Yeah, I'm going to be going there. So, and Ahsoka supposedly is walking around. Hera is supposed to be walking around, and I'm pretty much hoping my little favorite war criminal is out there, Chopper, because Chopper is. I didn't realize this. Actually had forgotten about it, but Chopper has a confirmed kill count of over 50,000 stormtroopers. If you go on Wikipedia, it's official. He literally has an official kill count of over 50,000 stormtroopers. Actually, stormtroopers and droids is what they say. Yes, Chopper the babysitter. He has actually crashed star destroyers into one another. I forgot all about that. Also, at the end of Rebels, he's the one that actually blew up the dome. That was he sent it up into the atmosphere above Lothal and exploded it with all the stormtroopers inside of it, all the rebels or not the rebels, the Imperial officers, all that stuff. They were all inside of it. So he is no, he's not reprogrammed. He's not reprogrammed, Yasi. Uh, he's actually friendly to his friends. He can also be sassy, kind of like he was in episode 2. Um, but yeah, uh, he's my favorite little murderous droid, man. One of my favorite episodes, it's the World Between Worlds, where they're trying to wait for Ezra to close, the temple, and Chopper is riding in a bulldozer, and he's chasing around Imperials and stormtroopers, and he's laughing maniacally as he's chasing them with this bulldozer, and it's one of the funniest fucking things. It really is. Uh so yeah, Jesse, one of the things they are talking about is that Jason most likely turns over to the dark side. Mhm. Yeah. I guess there's been some books and comics and all that stuff of Jason when he gets older, going Sith on people. Yeah. And he does have, he is strong in the force. That's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be strong in the force. But yeah, having a psychopath as a nanny, I know. It does explain a lot. I mean, uh I'm pretty sure that Chopper is a true Sith master, Sith Lord. I would not be surprised. Yeah, I actually have my so you see I have my Dark series of Star Wars back here. My Chopper is going to be coming in November. So I ordered that one already. Because when I saw that, I was like, fuck yeah, ding. Also, when I go down to Disneyland, I think I can build a chopper down there as well, like a remote control one. Definitely doing that as well. Because why the fuck not? You know, gotta have a little murderous droid, and I really do hope that they have him running around. I'm pretty sure they will, because the series is going on right now, and I'm looking forward to it. Should be fun. Ooh, I got a freight train rolling by right now, so that's why if you see my screen jiggling, it's because of the freight train. So, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Not a whole hell of a lot because I am fucking tired. I'm going to say that right now. Pretty much the only thing I've got going on right now, and this is a maybe at the most. Sunday, I'm going to try and do a spoiler alert. Don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Basically, we can talk about anything that is out and about, like if movies, TV series, video games, whatever you guys want to talk about, as long as it is out to the general public, not sneak previews or anything like that, and probably some news stuff as well, like genre news, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try and do that on Sunday. Otherwise, it's not going to be until next week where yeah, we go back to Ahsoka on Wednesday. And then also next week, we're going to have the season premiere of, or I should say the series premiere of Gen V, which is going to be the Boys spinoff. And I'm going to be covering that as well. So, have you ever noticed the Ahsoka theme sounds pretty much a lot like the either Game of Thrones or Dragon, the spinoff of Game of Thrones? It's very similar to Game of Thrones. Even the timing on the animation and all that stuff is pretty much the same thing. It's the same cadence. That, yeah. But that was one thing that struck me when I first heard it. I'm like, Game of Thrones? They're doing that? But yeah. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you know who you are out there. Take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that share button and the like button as well down there. I don't know where they're at. There's someplace down there. I will see you again probably Sunday, hopefully. Yes, there are Eastern melodies, Yasi. I remember seeing something a long time ago about how they were coming about with that, or how they came up with that. And I want to say it's Bear McCready is the name of the guy who did Game of Thrones, the theme. And yeah, he was working with a lot of Middle Eastern music, is what he was doing. So that's where that came about from. So, hey, that's what I'm here for, Yasi. That's why I do the live stream, is so I can blab with people. That's why I do this. I mean, I like talking about these shows. So thank you for coming in. I will see you guys again, hopefully on Sunday. And Raman Javidi. Okay. Oh, he's the one that actually did it. I thought it was Bear. Oh no, I'm confusing it. Okay, never mind. I'm confusing something else. Thank you. I will see you guys on Sunday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find yourself on a planet where space whales go to die, and there's witches. They're trying to get away from something, whatever, on the planet, and there's rock turtle people, and there's some Tusken Raiders that are dressed in samurai gear, and it's just a weird thing that's going on at the moment. But thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Sunday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Start wearing those masks again, because shit's starting to crop back up again. Thanks, everyone. I will see you again on Sunday. Have a good rest of your night. Take care, everybody. Good night.